Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of the CW's The Vampire Diaries. This week we've seen Season 7, Episode 15, entitled I Would For You. And so overall, another pretty good episode. You guys know, if you've watched my past couple of reviews lately, you'll know that I think the season's been on a bit of an upswing, and this week's episode continued that trend, in my opinion. Not an amazing episode, but another solid one. So I count that as a plus. I'm still planning on doing my 100 review right after my Vampire Diaries and Originals once tonight. A lot to talk about. I'm honestly very eager to get into what happened in that show. But right now we're going to be talking about the Vampire Diaries. And of course, I do have my notes, so we're going to run through these. Let's see. So Rayna wakes up again. She's in New Orleans, of course, after the crossover last week. She finds Matt and Penny, who are, taking out vampires, periodically. And, she's asking if they know a vampire named Stefan Salvatore. And, throughout the episode, she ends up giving them some pointers. But, that ends up turning into a bit of a mess for herself. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Stefan and Valerie actually go to this place where a bunch of witch herbs are stored in case something ever happened to most, if not all, of the witches. That's sort of like their plan in case people need that type of magic, when they don't have the actual people to go to. So it makes sense they'd have something like that, but it was kind of odd that it was all stored in just like one little greenhouse type of place like that. I don't know. But I get it's supposed to be accessible for people, but still. Anyway, Bonnie also wakes up in the hospital. Damon and her being a little bit cute. Turns out that Damon and Matt were actually able to set Rayna up when Rayna takes Matt and Penny to the bar, or the grill, I should say. Because Matt, he doesn't like Damon. He still has his little weird grudge against Damon and stuff like that. Although you'd think he'd hold him a little bit of a different regard, considering how deeply Lena cares for him and stuff. But Matt, it's Matt, whatever. So because Matt actually does like Stefan as a person, he's willing to help out Damon, who's trying to help Stefan. So Damon actually is able to take Rayna's heart out and thus, capture her. He actually ends up cutting her up, Dexter style. Cutting off her arms. It's basically dismembering her and putting her in a bag or two. Of course, she eventually regenerates, fully intact. Damon keeps her in a well. Damon comes with a nickname for her, Ray, so that's fun. We actually get some good, interesting dialogue between the two, Rand talking about, or Damon talking to her about how, he does care about his family, not all vampires are this or that, and, Rayna talks about how her family is the reason for her nature, she can't really stop herself. And we learn more about Rayna later, that she actually had a vampire lover, like a vampire boyfriend type of thing at one point, but it's sort of like the reverse of a vampire thing, she actually eventually can't help herself from staking him, so that's what happened. But I think there's some stuff potentially to be explored with her character there, but I don't know what they're going to do with her exactly, but we'll see. Stefan and Valerie are knocked out at a little greenhouse shack. Bonnie visits Enzo, and she's shown those who sacrificed to Rayna, the natives and stuff that we seen in the flashback a little while ago in the season. We see that as they decay, it turns out that Rayna only has 2 lives left, and Damon blasts her with a gun again, so she's down to 1 life at this point. We also find out from Enzo that if Rayna actually dies for the final time, so does anyone she's marked, sort of complete what she was doing at that time at the very least, in their whole, setup for what she is. And that means Stefan would die if Rayna dies right now, so of course Damon tries to dig her up desperately. We also get a scene of Penny, putting Matt down for, sort of keeping certain vampires alive, and, basically failing to, keep them out of the town. She says at a certain point it's, people who's in the town's fault that, vampires have the kind of presence they do in, their area. And, I think Penny's just looking at it a little bit too simply. She's kind of like, Rayna's different because she's kind of forced to have this, one mindset. But with Penny, she's just not seeing it correctly. She's just not thinking there's any gray area. It's black and white, But we've dealt with characters like this before, so it's fun retreading old ground, right? Let's see. Damon is able to dig up Rayna in time, giving her mouth to mouth. He tried to heal her with the vampire blood, but that didn't work. Rayna does wake up, though, doesn't die. And we get a kind of a sad scene of Caroline, talking to Steph on the phone, saying she wants to stay with Alaric in Texas, or the babies in particular. But, we are starting to see something brewing between Caroline and Alaric, and it is a little bit weird. And Stefan, I think, is sort of picking up on that, too. He's starting to sense that might not just be about the kids. She's actually growing another type of attachment to Alaric. It is a little bit weird, but the actors are kind of good together, so I'm willing to see where it goes. Plus, Caroline's annoying. I'd much prefer her. I'd much prefer Stefan with Valerie or someone else. But then again, I want someone better for Alaric, too. Why don't we just resurrect Joe and take Caroline out of the equation completely? Let's see. Talk about Rayna having a vampire lover. She's captured by the armory, as her and Damon are fighting. They show up and inject dozens of darts into her just to finally bring her down. That was kind of cool. Damon makes the decision that he wants to desiccate until Lena wakes up. Basically lay in a coffin next to her and only be woken up when she's awake. And this would be a little bit more impactful. This would be a little bit more emotional if we didn't see a flash forward already that shows him waking up only 3 years into this instead of the 60 he was planning on. So there wasn't as much emotion involved with this one for me because we already knew he was going to wake up early anyway. So it was still well done, a couple well done scenes, but again, it didn't really make it what it could have been if we didn't know what happened later on beforehand. Let's see. Matt, he goes to Stefan, he treats him like a buddy, but then he says he wants all vampires gone out of this town, and, once again, Matt just being a small little insignificant pawn in what the others are trying to do. And, you can see Matt, he still does like Stefan as a friend, but he just can't stand these vampires anymore. He's finally decided after 7 seasons that he's finally going to take his big old stand here. And Matt's not really a character I care about. I honestly wouldn't care if he just got his head swiped off by any character on the show. But, it is what it is. And I did kind of feel for his struggle here in a way, but again, not badly acted, just sort of weirdly written for it to happen right now, I think. I did like Damon actually writing a goodbye letter to Alaric before he went into the coffin. Because I found it kind of funny. I get, I really appreciate the bond that has grown between Damon and Bonnie as friends, but I feel like Damon's friendship with Alaric has sort of been brushed to the side in the meantime. Damon always calling Bonnie his best friend. What about Alaric, man? But I'm glad they acknowledged that again here, and I did appreciate that Damon did that at the very least, although he says it's a shitty way to do it, which it is, but it was still pretty touching, I thought. I'm not going to try to repeat any of the words, I just butcher it. Even though he didn't get all mushy and stuff, it was well written, whether Damon wants to admit it or not. Bonnie actually shows up before he lays in the coffin and says she's hurt, that he wouldn't even go to her in person, or that their bond isn't strong enough to, keep himself around and just, wait the whole Lena thing out on a regular circumstance instead of, taking the easy way out and not wanting to see her anymore as friends. And again, it seems like there's more feeling involved here. Bonnie and Damon together would be weird, but again, they're the only characters with chemistry left that Damon could really get into. But anyway, really good acting from Kat Graham here, though I did feel for her. But I did think I don't know. I can't say it's selfish of Bonnie to try to keep Damon around. And Lane did want him to live a full life. She probably wouldn't want Damon just to check out and wait for her while just laying there dead himself. Flash forward, of course, you kind of get a recap of what we've seen way earlier in the season. Damon's woken up by Stefan, and Rayna's escaped somehow. Again, we didn't really see how, but we kind of figured she would eventually anyway. Stefan's captured. Rayna and Damon both want the mark for Stefan transferred onto Damon because they both say Damon's one that deserves it, not Stefan. So yeah, those are the main things that happened in this episode. Overall another pretty good one. But nothing that really hit me too much. But it is actually becoming a pretty decent season for me at this point. With the whole Rayna thing really picked it up, I think. And by the way, this is the last episode until April, apparently. I didn't see what day it's coming back, but sometime in April, I guess. Which kind of sucks, but it'll give me a break with this huge jammed schedule I've been having lately, but still, kind of sucks. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I didn't put as much into this as I usually do, but that's only because I'm just really eager to the video about the 100 this week. But still enjoy talking about this one as always. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, MoviePilot, look for inspoiled.com. Catch you guys next time with my originals review. And yeah, peace.